Here's what they don't tell you about winter and roofing. It destroys more businesses and bankrupts more good roofers than anything else in this industry. And most people see it coming but do nothing to stop it. Every year, I watch the same tragic story play out. September rolls around, and roofers who are making bank all summer suddenly start panicking. By December, guys who are pulling in $20,000 a month are scrambling to pay rent. By February, some of them are completely out of business. Hey everybody, I'm Mike with Roof Money Pro, and my mission is to help roofing professionals like you maximize your careers and build wealth that actually lasts. During my 3 years in roofing sales, I saw winter kill more careers and drain more bank accounts than storms, competition, and bad customers combined. But here's the thing, winter doesn't have to be your enemy. Some of the smartest roofers I know actually make more money in winter than they do in peak season. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why most roofers go broke when the temperature drops, and more importantly, how you can be one of the few who thrives year-round. If you're tired of living in fear of winter months, hit that subscribe button because we're about to change how you think about the off-season forever. Let me tell you about Danny. Danny ran a solid roofing crew in Oklahoma. During storm season, this guy was unstoppable. April through August, Danny was clearing $35,000 a month easy. His crew was busy, his phone was ringing, and life was good. But Danny made the same mistake that kills 90% of roofers. He thought the good times would never end. Instead of preparing for winter, Danny spent like every month was going to be a $35,000 a month. New truck, bigger shop, more equipment, higher rent. Danny's monthly overhead ballooned to almost $18,000. When November hit and work dried up, Danny went from hero to zero in 30 days. By January, he was borrowing money from family just to keep the lights on. By March, Danny was working for someone else's company because his own business was dead. Danny's story isn't unique. It happens to thousands of roofers every single year. The crazy part? It's completely preventable if you know what you're doing. Mistake number one, some are spending like there's no tomorrow. The number one reason roofers go broke in winter is lifestyle inflation during busy season. You make $30,000 in June, so you start living like you make $30,000 every month. This is financial suicide in a seasonal business. I worked with a sales consultant named Rick, who was the king of this mistake. Rick would have months where he'd close $40,000 in commissions. Instead of saving that money, Rick would immediately upgrade everything. Bigger apartment, fancier car, expensive dinners, weekend trips. Rick justified it by saying he deserved to enjoy his success. And you know what? He did deserve it. But deserving something and being able to afford it long term are two completely different things. When winter came and Rick's income dropped to $3,000 a month, his lifestyle expenses were still $8,000 a month. Rick had to choose between keeping his fancy apartment or keeping his credit score intact. He chose the apartment and destroyed his credit for the next 5 years. Here's the brutal truth. Your summer income isn't your real income. It's your peak income. Your real income is what you average over the entire year, including the slow months. If you make $25,000 in May, $30,000 in June, $28,000 in July, but only $4,000 in December, $2,000 in January, and $3,000 in February, your average monthly income is about $15,000, not $28,000. Live off of the $15,000. Save everything above that. This one change will save your financial life. Most roofers treat winter like it's some kind of natural disaster that they can't prepare for. They just cross their fingers and hope they can survive until spring. This is a prime example of the backwards thinking that keeps people broke. Winter isn't a surprise. It happens every single year at the exact same time. Yet somehow, roofers act shocked when December rolls around and the phone stops ringing. During my time in sales, I met a contractor named Paul who completely flipped the script. While everyone else was complaining about slow winter months, Paul was making $15,000 to $20,000 every single winter doing what some roofers never think about, insurance restoration work. Paul realized that winter storms create different opportunities. Ice dams, snow load damage, wind damage from winter storms. While his competitors were sitting at home watching TV, Paul was out there serving customers who needed help right now. But Paul didn't stop there. He also used winter months to build relationships with insurance adjusters, update his certifications, and plan his marketing for the next storm season. Paul treated winter like preparation time, not vacation time. The result? Paul's business grew every single year, while his competitors struggled through the same boom-bust cycle over and over again. This one drives me crazy because it's so easy to fix, but almost nobody does it. Most roofers operate with zero financial buffer. They're living paycheck to paycheck even when those paychecks are huge. Let me tell you about Tony, who was making $200,000 a year running a small roofing company. Tony was talented. His crew was good. His customers loved him. But Tony had exactly $1,847 in his savings account when winter hit. Why? Because Tony spent every dollar he made as soon as he made it. New equipment, truck upgrades, shop improvements, family vacations. Tony was investing in his business, but he wasn't investing in his business's survival. When a slow winter month combined with 2 customers who delayed payment, Tony was in serious trouble. He couldn't make payroll. He couldn't pay his suppliers. He had to take out a high-interest business loan just to keep the doors open. Meanwhile, another contractor named Lisa had built up 8 months of expenses in her emergency fund. When the same slow winter hit her market, Lisa was completely calm. She used the downtime to train her crew, update her processes, and plan for the next busy season. One contractor nearly went bankrupt. The other used winter as a strategic advantage. The only difference was preparation. Winter doesn't just reduce your income. It often increases your expenses in ways most people don't think about. Let's talk about the hidden costs that catch roofers off guard every year. First, heating costs for your shop or office can double or triple in winter months. I've seen guys get $800 electric bills when they were expecting $300. That $500 difference might not sound like much, but when your income has dropped by 80%, every dollar matters. Vehicle maintenance gets brutal in winter. Salt on the roads destroys trucks. Cold weather kills batteries. Tires wear out faster. I watched one contractor spend $3,000 on truck repairs in January alone. Then there's the temptation to take on low-profit jobs just to keep cash flowing. This is where a lot of roofers kill themselves financially. They'll take a job that barely covers materials just to have something to do. But here's the problem. Low-profit jobs often turn into no-profit jobs once you factor in all the real costs. You're working for free, wearing out your equipment, and burning through cash reserves for jobs that don't actually help your bottom line. The smart roofers I know don't just do roofing. They build multiple income streams that work year-round. This is probably the biggest difference between roofers who thrive and roofers who barely survive. Let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus started as a storm chaser, just like most guys in sales. But Marcus was smart. He realized that being dependent on storms was like being dependent on winning the lottery. So Marcus started building other income streams. He got certified in insurance adjusting and started doing side work for adjusters during slow periods. He learned solar installation and started partnering with solar companies. He even created an online course teaching other roofers how to write better estimates. By his 3rd year, Marcus had 5 different income streams. Storm season was still his biggest moneymaker, but he was pulling in $8,000 to $12,000 every single month from his other activities. When winter shuts down most roofing work for a few months, Marcus barely feels it. While other guys are filing for unemployment, Marcus is actually growing his other businesses. The key is starting this process during your busy months, not waiting until winter when you're desperate. Use your summer profits to build winter income streams. Here's something else that kills roofers financially. Staying in markets that completely shut down in winter. I get it. You might have family ties or personal reasons for staying somewhere, but from a pure business perspective, some locations are financial death traps for roofers. During my sales days, I worked with guys who would literally move their entire operation south for winter months. These guys had it figured out. May through September, they'd work northern markets where hail season was hot. October through April, they'd head to Florida, Texas, or Arizona, where work continued year-round. Yeah, it's more complicated than staying put. You need temporary housing, you need to learn new markets, you need to build new relationships. But the guys who did this were making money 12 months a year while their competitors were eating ramen noodles in January. Even if you can't relocate, you can think regionally. Partner with contractors in a warmer market. Subcontract work from companies that operate year-round. Get creative. instead of just accepting that winter means zero income. This is where a lot of roofers get killed, and it's not always obvious until it's too late. Cash flow management in a seasonal business is completely different from managing cash flow in a steady business. Most roofers collect money the same way year-round. They finish a job, they send an invoice, they wait 30 to 60 days to get paid. This works fine when you've got 10 jobs going and money coming in every week. But when winter hits and you've got only 2 jobs going, that payment schedule can destroy you. You might have $50,000 worth of work completed, but if customers are slow to pay, you're at their mercy and still broke. It's all too easy to get caught in this trap and unable to cover bills because none of those customers have paid yet. Smart roofers adjust their payment terms for winter work. They ask for larger deposits. They get progress payments. They offer discounts for immediate payment. They do whatever it takes to keep cash flowing instead of waiting months to get paid. All right, enough problems. Let's talk solutions. Here's exactly how to turn winter from your enemy into your competitive advantage. First, start planning for winter in April, not October. The moment storm season starts, you should be thinking about winter survival. This isn't negative thinking, this is smart business planning. Calculate exactly how much money you need to survive winter with zero income. Include all your business expenses, all your personal expenses, and add 25% for unexpected costs. That number is your winter survival fund target. During busy season, automatically transfer 40% of every payment into your winter survival fund before you spend a penny on anything else. I don't care if it hurts. I don't care if you want that new truck. Winter will hurt a lot worse than living modestly during summer. Second, start building winter income streams during summer. Research what opportunities exist in your market during slow months. Interior work, insurance adjusting, maintenance contracts, snow removal. There are always opportunities if you look for them. Third, use winter for business building activities that you don't have time for during busy season. Update your website, improve your marketing, train your crew, build relationships with suppliers and adjusters. Treat winter like investment time, not downtime. Let me tell you about Sarah, a roofing contractor who went from nearly bankrupt to making more in winter than most roofers make in summer. Sarah's first winter almost killed her business. She made every mistake I've talked about and barely survived. But Sarah learned. The next spring, Sarah started implementing the winter wealth strategy. She saved 45% of every summer payment. She got certified in multiple restoration specialties. She built relationships with property management companies who needed year-round contractors. By her third winter, Sarah was pulling in $18,000 to $22,000 every month doing restoration work, maintenance contracts, and emergency repairs. Sarah had completely flipped the script on winter. Then there's Miguel, who started a snow removal business using his roofing trucks and crew. Miguel realized he already had the trucks, he already had guys who weren't afraid of heights or bad weather, and he already had relationships with commercial property owners. Miguel's snow removal business generates more profit than his roofing business because the margins are better and the work is more predictable. Miguel turned winter from his slow season into his most profitable season. Here's your action plan to never go broke in winter again. Start implementing this stuff today, not when the snow starts falling. Calculate your winter survival fund target. Add up 6 months of all your expenses, business and personal, at 25% for unexpected costs. That's how much money you need in the bank before winter hits. Open a separate savings account called your winter fund. Set up automatic transfers so that 40% of every payment goes directly into this account during busy season. This money doesn't exist in your mind until winter. Research winter opportunities in your market right now. What restoration work happens in winter? What maintenance contracts can you secure? What partnerships can you build? Start working on this during your busy season, not when you're desperate. Update your payment terms for all winter work. Require larger deposits. Ask for progress payments. Offer discounts for immediate payment. Do whatever it takes to keep cash flowing during slow months. Consider seasonal relocation or partnerships if your market completely dies in winter. Start building relationships with contractors in warmer markets who might need extra help during their busy seasons. Here's something most roofers never realize. Winter can actually become your biggest competitive advantage if you handle it right. While 90% of your competitors are struggling to survive, You can be the guy who's thriving, growing, and preparing for the next boom cycle. You're only limited by your creativity. Customers remember who was there when they needed help. Property managers remember which contractors answered the phone during the blizzard. Insurance adjusters remember who was reliable during the slow months. By the time spring hits and everyone else comes out of a hibernation, you've built relationships and a reputation that give you a massive head start on the next busy season. Winter isn't the enemy. Poor planning is the enemy. Seasonal thinking is the enemy. Lack of preparation is the enemy. 90% of roofers go broke in winter because they make the same 5 mistakes. Summer spending, zero winter planning, no emergency fund, single income stream, and poor cash flow management. But every single one of these mistakes is completely preventable. The roofers who build real wealth in this industry are the ones who master the off-season. They don't just survive winter, they use it as a strategic advantage to pull ahead of their competition. Your next winter doesn't have to be a financial nightmare. It can be the season that changes your entire business trajectory, but you have to start preparing now, while the money is flowing, not when it stops. If this video opened your eyes to some things you need to change, make sure you subscribe because we're covering everything you need to build wealth in roofing year-round. I'll see you in the next video.